A few years ago, we made a summer home for the tortoises to spend all year outside while it's warm. But what if we put the iguana in there too? What if we made it 8 feet tall, 12 feet wide, and 6 feet deep? Today we're gonna make the coolest iguana summer house. My name's Adam. There's no reptile here yet. You're watching Wickens Wicked Reptiles. Stick around.
Just a quick recap who Doug is and why he's so special. In November, we rescued Doug from our local reptile store. He was there for many years. He was kind of the mascot for the store. They gave him to somebody to take care of, and then several months later, he was brought back in terrible condition. His spikes were coated in stuck shed, and now he doesn't have any. His hip bones are showing. His cheeks are barely there. They're almost sunken in. And these are not good things for an iguana to look like. So he was in really bad condition. He was barely eating. His poops were completely watery and just overall in a bad state. So we took him in. We decided to give him an enclosure inside with the proper UVB, with the proper lighting, with the proper heat, the right kind of diet. And then in the summer, we wanted to give him a castle. We wanted Doug to be the king of the castle. So that's what we did. That's the point of the video. But before we do anything, we have to go to Home Depot to get the right supplies. Because although we're reusing basically everything, we have to get the right timber, we have to get the right screws and hardware, hinges, things like that. So I'll put a list below of what we bought, but most of it was already on my property. And what we did have to get was just a few 2x4s, some wood, some garbage bags, thing like that. And of course, it's always good exercise to bring the monkeys out so they can play on things that they're not supposed to be playing on, but nobody at Home Depot had a problem with it. It was a fun little family outing, and if you want to see more stuff like this, we did a video last week all about a day in the life, and that's where we left off. So let's get building.
Step one to any building project is safety first. So I always recommend safety shoes. Make sure that your feet are protected, otherwise you're gonna have a bad day. The first step is deassembling the entire thing, which was really easy. It took about, I don't know, 45 minutes, less than that. And now we have to make sides, and we're gonna reuse the screen tops, because why buy more wood? It's Canada, that costs $47 a piece, I'm pretty sure. And then reuse the chicken wire too, and then put a top piece on, or 2 different top pieces, so that I don't have to carry around a 12-foot board. Either way, we just left everything inside. We're gonna redirect the eaves trough, also the downspout, so that it kind of refills the water bowl from the eaves trough. So we're basically reusing everything. This whole project cost maybe $200, but I'll list in the description below everything that we used, how much it cost, and then cut that by about 10% if you're in the US, because your currency is actually worth something. The front wall is up, which means we basically have to make a door and then make a ceiling that light will still get in, because keep in mind, these animals will be out here in September when it does get a little bit cooler. And then what we're gonna do first, before we do anything else, is we're gonna build a gate so that we have a way to get inside of this enclosure. So we're gonna build a gate, put it on the frame, put the roof on, and then the fun part, building everything on the inside. This is what we got done. The entire structure is done, the frame is done, and most of the caging is on. But now, complete the caging, and then the fun part, which is making it safe for Doug to go inside, and the tortoises too. So make sure that Doug has somewhere to escape out of the sun, and the tortoises do too. And unfortunately, we can't put plants because Doug will eat all of the plants.
One eternity later.
So 3 days later, it's finally done. This enclosure is 12 feet by 5 feet by over 6 feet. So conservatively, 2,700 gallons. And all it has in it is 1 iguana, Doug, which we're gonna put in right now. This is the really fun part. And it has 2 tortoises. The structure on the outside was pretty easy because we used existing structure to make it and then just bolted it right to the house. So really, in essence, what I did is made an extension to my house for Doug. He gets his own room that doesn't have a walkthrough you have to go outside to get to. It just has a regular gate latch, which is actually a really good idea. What Trish mentioned was, if I'm inside the enclosure, I can't get out. So we have like a little piece of twine here, which I'm sure definitely will not break. But come on inside here. I've got lots of headroom, so you know this thing must be 8 feet tall because it's pretty close. But in essence, there's room for Doug to go on all of the surfaces. So realistically, although we have these old timbers, looking around to make sure I don't step on a tortoise, which we just put together with L brackets and giant screws, Also, he can go on all the fixtures that are inside, and we see him climbing on the screen netting, which we put staples into, and that's how we made it secure in the first place. The wood timbers that we found outside of the yard that were enclosing the garden that we're standing in when we bought the house, this was just basically a garden, and I thought, what better things to grow than tortoises inside? So we put the cherry heads back outside about a month ago because it has been rather warm here. They're gonna stay in here, and the thing with Doug is, Doug did go down and check out the tortoises, but he didn't seem to care really at all. So they have the exact same diet, except for the tortoises eat a little bit of protein, but Doug's not gonna mess with it, and Doug's gonna be up on the perches. He's not gonna be on the ground basically at all, except for that one time he had a little bit of food that he wanted that the tortoises had, and they ate side by side. It was adorable. I wish I would have got it on film, but these guys have the exact same requirements in terms of temperature, humidity, lighting, basically. Just these guys are gonna be on the ground, and Doug's not gonna bother them. Doug likes to sit on the top perches, which is exactly what you'd find in the wild. And in the wild, where they're from in Central America, this is what you're going to see. They're gonna be up high. They're basically never gonna be on the ground. And the great thing is, too, they're gonna have the same diet, so I can put the same salad that I make at the same time for everything else in different locations. He has an entire... Okay. He has an entire platform, basically, that he can go and just chill on if he wants to. And then underneath the platform, he has shelter for the rain. But the last few days, we had torrential downpours, and Doug just did not care. He was super chill about it. He just sat outside. He waited for the water to run down his body into his mouth, and that's how he drinks. Because although he does have options to go down and drink some water, he generally will get it from running down his face. We also put a pipe here from the downspout from the eaves trough that pours into the water bowl, but also makes puddles on these timbers as well. So there you go. That's how you make a 2,700-gallon enclosure for your iguana. Now, iguanas aren't for everybody, but they might be for you if you live in a place where you can do this for most of the year. I can't wait to show you how this progresses, how it goes, and how Doug does with the natural UV light, which is so important to them, and the perfect garden that we're actually growing right here too. So food, light, shelter, all in one place. Thanks very much for watching. I appreciate it. Please hit the like and subscribe button so that you can see what goes on with Doug and the torts all summer long. And thanks again to the Patreon supporters. You guys get videos early, discounts on merch. You guys get to see this. We did a video about this like 2 weeks ago. One-on-ones, all that for as little as $1 a month. And because I do videos twice a week, that means I'll see you in the next one.